Okay. All right. So here goes our pilot Northeast Space Educators mixer. And I worked on this with Michelle because I saw that she represents the NASA Solar System ambassadors, and there's a whole bunch of these ambassadors throughout the country, whereas I represent the International Astronomical Union's Office of Astronomy for Education's uh, National Astronomy Education Coordinator team representing the United States. I know it's a mouthful. US NIAC. And so I thought, what better way to span astronomical education and outreach than by getting a mixer going, at least for the Northeast. Supposedly, Sarah, who is kind of coordinating the solar system ambassadors, will show up at some point in time. So that's great. So I'd like to start with some questions, um, and you could do it with a show of hands, though I don't, or put in a chat. Um, so I'm going to ask, first of all, how many of you are NASA Solar System ambassadors? If you could raise your hand or put it in the chat. Okay, we got Michelle, and that's it. I guess so. Oh, okay, here we have Akaride. Uh, and I probably mispronounced, but you can correct us. And then how many are involved with the IAU's NIACs, the US NIACs? Yes, and myself as well. So that's cool. Uh,
So,
it-
Bill, maybe you should explain a little bit about NIAC,
right.
that what we do.
The International Astronomical Union has this Office of Astronomy for Education, and it's mostly for formal K through 12 education to to advance astronomy education throughout the world. And so they've established this network of national astronomy education coordinators throughout the world. In I don't know how many countries, 90, something like that, a whole bunch of countries. And I am one of five US NIACs. Um, I have to say that it's not clear what our status is at this point in time. Um, I'm waiting to hear from the Office of Astronomy for Education as to whether our team is current. But in the meantime, we have a set of affiliates, and that's where Michelle comes in. Nobody's status is clear right now. Yes, Eric, indeed. Um,
Yep.
who knows? Maybe the United States didn't pay its dues to the IAU. They haven't told me what's going on, but we're supposedly frozen. But life goes on, right? And people who
Maybe
are
maybe
interested.
that's IOU instead of IAU.
Very
So
good.
Well
yeah.
said, Logan. Um, and so, life goes on. I'm a retired research astronomer, professor of astronomy, etc. And now I mostly write books, but I got involved with the NIACs, and it's been kind of fun. Uh, so I have another question. Um,
Before you move on, Bill, could you do me the kindness of posting the URL to NIAX? I would love to
Yeah,
follow
I'll
up on
do
my own.
that while Bill's talking. How's that?
Thanks,
Thank
Michelle.
you. I think it's nyac-us.org, but Michelle will figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's a helpful website. Um, why? Because, well, I made it. Oh, okay. So that's one way to get to it. Yep.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know if that's been updated. So just in case, also
Oh,
try NAEC. us.org.
Well, here,
See what happens.
I'll put in, I'll put in the other, where it takes you to, the team itself.
Mhm.
Yep.
To,
And yeah, it has a lot of resources for educators. And so my third question is, how many of you are space educators involved with schools, including after-school programs? Okay, so all the people who I can see um, are involved with schools. So there you go. Where informal education meets formal education. And I know that probably the schools take a wonderful advantage of you and your contributions. And I think it's so that's a point I like to make when I interact with uh, the IAU Office of Astronomy for Education, that there is this crossover between informal and formal education.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And how many of you are students? Am I guessing that Akaride and Eric and Kareem and Dean are all?
Dean,
Dean, I am.
you,
Kareem, me. You can put in the chat. That looks good, pretty good.
so if I'm correct, most of you guys are from, Ocean County College, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Ocean County College, which is in
That-
New Jersey.
Yes.
Yeah.
In Toms River, New Jersey, where I am. I
Yes.
teach at High School North and at High School South in Toms River. And I live in
So
Silverton, right, like walking distance from Ocean County College.
that's too funny. We have a good Jersey presence here. So can I digress for a second? And then the students, how did you guys learn about this? Was it through LinkedIn?
Yes.
Well, one of our professors, Professor Bogdan, told us about the opportunity to learn more about like NASA and different things. I like space. I think it's pretty cool. So I just wanted to learn a little bit more about it.
She's a friend of mine. Yes, she's amazing. I love Professor Bogdan.
That's great.
I learned it from Mr. Glover from Databot, and then I reposted it.
I need to learn
Yes.
what's Databot.
Databot is a company in Boise, Idaho that makes a micro
Sensors.
instrumentation.
Right.
Essentially, it's a educational learning tool for essentially to miniaturized instrumentation.
That's cool. Is
Yeah.
it built on the Raspberry Pi platform?
Mm.
I believe it is actually. Now that I think about it, I believe it is. Yeah.
That's good
Yeah,
hands-on stuff.
I met him at the STEM convening a few weeks ago in DC, so I invited him. And I know they're doing a virtual training on the data bots sometime in December too. I thought
Yep.
he was joining us tonight, but
I think
That's all
he's
right.
in Dubai.
that's right. For the STEMina, right?
Yeah.
STEMina, something like that. That's
Correct.
right.
So yeah, it's great to have students here, and because you can set us straight as to whether we're going in the right direction or not. Um, so those are the informal questions I have. Michelle, do you have any other questions?
No, I think it would be nice if everybody kind of introduced themselves and everybody kind of said, where they're coming from. And I know they did on the questionnaire what they like,
Mhm.
space, galaxies, stuff like that. So, why not? Especially the students, tell us, um, what you're interested in. So, um, I'll, I'll, um, I'll go next. So Michelle Reardon. I am a photographer, STEM educator. I am in the midst of finishing up an observatory here in Egg Harbor Township, which, dude, we have alignment. We have the dome went offline. Then I got that back online. So I'm almost there. So that's making me gray. Um, and I'm a solar system ambassador. So it's my 6th year as a solar system
Mm.
ambassador for NASA JPL. I do the South Jersey STEM ecosystem, which is part of the New Jersey STEM pathways. I am also with the New Jersey Space Grant Consortium here in Jersey. So I do outreach and workforce for schools, vote techs, and community colleges. And I put a lot of people together with a lot of NASA resources overall. So that's me. And then I mentor a lot of STEM teams, which is Rhodes Challenge,
Awesome.
Kid Challenge. I do a lot of really cool stuff with the kids that I can find. So Logan, you want to uh, introduce yourself and
Sure. I'm an informal space educator, lifelong space enthusiast. I have a family connection to Project Apollo and the Space Shuttle program, which is kind of how I got interested in mission patches since the age of about 7.
Cool.
And as a professional, I am a product design leader. I provide, I advise companies on designing meaningful and useful enterprise software. But my personal passion and my professional pursuits have merged to essentially do to deliver a very low tech but high impact education program centered around mission patches and the storytelling of their origin stories. So I use mission patches to connect students to STEAM through storytelling. And what brought me here today is I'm always curious about looking at areas of specialization. Astronomy happens to be one of those. So I actually have developed and facilitate what I call STEMblems. So it's kind of a STEM focused storytelling around the STEM disciplines. And one of those disciplines that I focus on is astronomy and have facilitated several sessions and actually have one coming up next month at a local school. So, yeah, I'm a patch collector. I'm a curator of mission patches. Um, I'm an emblem historian. I am
Mm.
friends with Apollo 13 astronaut Fred Hayes, and he and I together facilitate and deliver free education programs, emblem education programs for myself, and together with Fred, we do Apollo 13 and also focus on his aeronautical career as well. And we provide that free of charge. And I'm proud to say that by the end of the year, I would have facilitated 151 education sessions this year.
How many?
151.
This
wow,
year.
Yeah,
just this year. That's
just this
amazing.
year. And last year, it was 24.
Oh, wow.
You're kicking it.
Yeah. It's great when it's just a feel good to be able to give something that is of value that creates and sparks inspiration and has a lasting impact on students' engagement with STEAM. And so I'm happy to pay it forward, and I'm privileged to be in a place where I can provide that free of charge to educators. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And as I was saying before, I can attest to the fact of getting those mission patches from you guys for my kids, for my team, and they were just thrilled. And we even used them. I ran a mini camp during the summer for the Rhodes Challenge as well.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I want to
And
give a shout out to AB Emblem. AB Emblem is the official manufacturer of patches for NASA.
Mhm.
And those patches they give to me to give to educators.
oh,
So,
wow.
yeah. So I'm now their official patch distributor to educators. Yeah. Yeah. I've exceeded over 62,000 patches donated to over 1,500 educators in 27 countries.
Wow.
Wow.
Christine, this might be something
Yeah, how do we get patches for the Space Settlement Design Competition? So my name's Christine Gertain, and I teach a 3-year science research class at 2 high schools in Toms River, New Jersey, Toms River High School North and Toms River High School South. I've been teaching in Toms River for 32 years. My undergrad is in bio, and my master's is in earth and space sciences. And then I am the 2023 New Jersey State Teacher of the Year.
Congratulations.
I've worked with Infiniscope through Arizona State University. So Jessica Swan, if you guys know her, I've been one of their advisory board members for a number of years and work on different projects with them. And I recently got pulled in with the Arizona State Teacher of the Year. He runs the Southwest Space Settlement Design Competition that feeds into the international competition at Kennedy Space Center. And our um, New Jersey team, who got picked from the East Coast Space Design Competition, got to go down to Kennedy Space Center, and they were on the winning international team their first time out. So that was really exciting for the students. And there were some articles written about them in the local Toms River Patch, which
That's
I'll
great.
post as well. Yeah. So I run the Jersey Shore STEM ecosystem. I'm always looking for partners, the college students that are on here. If you're interested in volunteering for the 2-day space design competition, it's something that you could add to your resume for the future if those are the fields that you're going into. My nephew, who just recently graduated from Rutgers University in electrical engineering, was a mentor for students last year. It's for high school students that are um, to move on to the international, they have to be 15 by, I think it's June 30th. And then I do let some younger, like higher level middle school students participate in the East Coast Space Design Competition, but they can't move forward until they're 15. So
Mm.
they do it just for practice this coming year. So I'll put my email in the chat if any of the college kids from OCC want to contact me about that.
So Christine, I actually reposted my link to my website and also my email address. Feel free
Awesome.
to go to the site and request a classroom set of patches.
Yeah, that'd be great to have patches for the space design competition for all of the students
Yep.
that are participating. As a state teacher of the year, I got to go to Huntsville, Alabama to space camp with all
Nice.
my fellow state teachers, and that was an amazing event. And I have a jumpsuit from the space camp with patches, so I will gladly add some patches on there.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It was really cool.
Christine, I see the NSF logo on the corner of your screen. What is that representing for you?
So they gave them free to us that did some reviews during COVID when everybody was home, and so it's the one that I use um, most often. I've been on a few, and I've also been the state coordinator for the Presidential Award for Excellence in Math and Science Teaching that was housed at NSF
Mm-hmm.
and is recently been defunded by the president.
So many things
Yes,
Yeah.
so many things.
Which,
have
of
been
all the
defunded.
things, I think if you're going to cut something, if you don't have money for things, awards are okay. Grants maybe 3/4 of the way through, not so much.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm okay with that cut, even though it was something that I believed in. If you're in a deficit,
I'm happy to report that Astronomy Picture of the Day has come back
it was great.
as of today. And that's my
Awesome.
go-to.
Yeah.
When I open up my browser, it goes straight to that. I'll probably try to put it in the chat.
So Christine, before I forget, when is the design challenge? When
It
are
is
you
the first weekend in March. So if they're coming from far away, they can come in on the Friday and there'll be hotel rooms provided. I have grant money from the International Space Design Group. And then if they're, local, then they would just stay overnight on the Saturday to the Sunday. So we run it at Toms River High School North, and then I haven't decided on the hotel yet. I have to see who gives us the best rate because we rented
Right.
a one-day event last year. So it is March 7th through the 8th, with hotel provided if you're past an hour and a half away, for the night of the 6th, that you can start early in the next morning and be on time.
That's nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. There is a fee, but it's not a fee that keeps the student out. It's just a fee to make sure you show up for the hotel.
Right.
Um, and all the food's covered, the hotels are covered. So it's $100 for a student to register, but if a student doesn't have that $100, they can contact me. But they have to assure that they're going to be there for the hotel and not show up. Because we had no hotel last year in a one day, and I probably had 12 students that had signed up that didn't show up, and I can't have that for the hotel rooms.
Right.
Yeah.
There has to be some kind of accountability there.
Yeah.
So how about any of you students? Do you want to unmute and tell us what you're working on, what you're studying at OCC?
Yeah, my name's Kareem McGrath. I'm going to Ocean County College. I'm studying civil engineering,
Hmm.
and I'm just here to learn more about space, like more specifically, like about Mars and like the feasibility of actually getting there. I've watched like a couple of videos. I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, that's why I'm here tonight.
And Kareem, where'd you go to high school?
I went to Central Regional High School.
Nice. My nieces went there. Ellie Itrabo and Katie Itrabo's there now. Ellie's,
Um,
Ellie's a
I'm not
sophomore.
sure. I'm not sure if I remember them.
That's
I'm
right.
not,
It's a big school.
yeah.
I'm also, for the college kids, going to put a link to what's called the Smart Scholars program. My daughter was
yes.
awarded this, and for when you get awarded this, however many years of college you have left, it pays for your tuition and gives you a $30,000 stipend,
Sure.
pays you $2,500 towards medical expenses and $1,000 towards books, and gives you a guaranteed job
Yep.
at a military base as a civilian STEM professional. So you could be a physicist, you could be an engineer, you could be a mathematician, computer science, and continually apply. So she applied for 3 years and she got it in her third year. So that application is still open. I think it closes in December.
December 5th or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
there's 21 days left until the application closes.
And it's not for the faint of heart. You have to get some recommendations in there. So if
Letters,
you're
yeah.
interested, I would look it up tonight and start working on it. And if not, if you feel like you're not ready, just bookmark it so that you are ready and start working on it for next year.
Mhm.
Yeah, the other one is NREAP, and my daughter had internships at Lakehurst Naval Base through this, which then they wrote her letters of recommendation for the SMART scholarship. So Kareem, if you're engineering, you could apply to this next year. It'll open up again in August. It just closed November 1st, I believe. But she did that 2 years in a row. It's a paid internship. The first year is 7,000 for 10 weeks in the summer, and the second year is 9,000 for 10 weeks in the summer.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Yep.
And you said, when
Worth
would
it
I apply
just
for that?
coming just coming for those two things.
Yeah. What did you say, Kareem?
And when did you say I had to apply for that by?
So the NREAP one just closed November 1st, so it doesn't open again until August. And so you'd be out of it for this coming summer. Are you a sophomore or a freshman at OCC?
I'm a freshman.
Yeah, so your rising sophomore summer, you couldn't get it because it's closed out already, but your rising junior summer, the summer between sophomore and junior year, you could get it, and that would be amazing.
All right. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
And Kareem, keep an eye on NASA's Artemis page. So once they start updating things, they're gonna update the next Artemis 2 launch, which is, slated for the spring of next year. So at least like through our solar system ambassadors, we're getting information on when the watch parties will start, but we don't have official, dates yet.
All right,
So,
Eric, you want to tell us a little about yourself?
Are there two Erics?
I don't think
So I'm not a student.
Oh, okay. Sorry. You were blending in.
Yeah, no, I
Do you
turned
want
off
to
the
be?
camera because it's dinner time out here. And my high school student is in the school play, so we're running around this evening. No, I posted something in the chat. I'm a little different from the rest of you. I'm on the other end of the education spectrum. I just left NASA with all the rest of us that left. There was a huge exodus from NASA recently. And I started my own company about a year ago. Part of what I do is professional training, and I do a lot of training for professional engineers, space affiliated folks. And so that's a lot of what I'm. So I thought I would stop in this evening to see what education focused things there might be more on my end of the spectrum rather than what we've been discussing so far this evening. But I was in the Speakers Bureau for many years. That's another plug that I would put in is if you're ever looking for speakers or any kind of outreach, reach out to the NASA Speakers Bureau, and you can get people like me to come in and talk about what they do.
What does AFK mean, Eric?
Oh, sorry, that means away from keyboard.
Oh,
It means I was eating my dinner. Sorry.
I thought that was your enterprise.
No. I don't think I put my company in, but
There you go.
And where are you located?
Yeah.
So I used to work at Goddard. So I'm right here outside of DC. I was born in Seattle, ironically. But my company does business mostly around DC, a lot in Colorado, and a little bit out in Seattle as well. So, but I'll put my company.
Yeah, you definitely put it in there.
That's awesome. So are you involved with the IEEE?
No, I'm more involved with AIAA. I'm associate fellow for AIAA, but I don't do a lot of outreach through AIAA. But most of my outreach was through NASA in the past. I haven't really stepped up. The new company doesn't allow me outreach when I'm already doing training a lot of the time.
What's AAA? Is that what is
AIAA.
Oh,
AIAA.
AIAA. Aeronautics and
Yeah.
And IEEE is an engineering
aerospace.
professional society for the college kids, if you didn't know that already.
Yeah.
And they have scholarships as well, so you should look into that.
AIAA has scholarships as well.
Yep.
So that's where
Yeah.
looking for such things.
So Goddard is actually where I started years ago when I wanted to bring NASA resources to our area, at least start it with informal education. That's the after school universe training was held there at Goddard for a couple of days. So it was an amazing experience.
They still have a lot of teachers workshops every year. If you Google them, I'm sure you can look them up. I know my wife is an astronomer still at Goddard. She's been involved with some of those workshops in the past, for sure.
I spent 6 years at Goddard. They were fabulous. Wow.
I didn't know that, William.
Yeah, that was my postdoc.
Oh, nice.
National National Academy of Sciences, National Research Council, Resident Research Associate. And it was just to be among these folks and these facilities was just outstanding. So,
Eric, do you would you be so kind as to post like a link to the speakers forum in the chat?
Speakers Bureau? Yeah, I can look it up.
Yeah.
If you Google NASA engages, I think, right?
And
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I just coordinated on the back end of that.
And we have one more student to hear from.
Yep.
We have Dean and Akarade.
Oh, two more.
Okay. I'll go.
I just found it. Thanks.
My name's Dean Mars, like the planet. So there's always something there. And I also am from OCC, also from Professor Bogdan. But I grew up in Texas for many years, and they have huge space programming, and I love space, everything that has to do with it. But I'm going right now for to OCC for mechanical engineering, but I heard about this opportunity from Professor Bogdan, who's head of engineering. And I'm like, I have the time. I should go.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Hopefully, Professor Bogdan's given you guys some credit too for coming.
hopefully. But it's cool. I love space. Love hearing about it.
Okay. First of all, thank you for everybody for let's us being here to listen to the conversation and everything and opportunity. And I was here the same reason as two students before. I'm from OCC and from Professor Bogan. The same major, engineer mechanic. I love space. I like how everything outside the world is being so, I'll say, crazy and everything like that.
And can you
And
say your name for us?
Akaradish.
Kurdish, thanks.
Yep. I am from Thailand, by the way.
Cool.
Mhm. Thank you.
I'm so glad you guys joined. So, does Professor Bogdan get you guys into any challenges? Um, I know she does a lot of different things with you guys.
Yeah.
There's,
So for the graphic engineering classes, where we use AutoCAD, one of our projects is like as a group, we have to find like a design competition and like submit like a proposal to it. So right now, like me and my group, it's called, I'm not sure the exact name is like the Timber Strong Project. And so right now, like we're designing like a timber structure that would be able to like withstand like different like um, wind, I'm not sure what the word would be. I'm sorry. Just like wind strengths. And we're like in the initial stages of that. We're also doing like another project for like the SIG project, where like we have to um, map out tunnels in Maplewood using like a LiDAR scanner. So yeah, Bogdan has us doing a bunch of different projects.
that's
That's
awesome.
awesome. Yeah.
I run the Kidwin Challenge here in New Jersey. So it's an engineering design project. I try to get a lot of middle schoolers involved, so it gets them excited to do more engineering in high school. So we're going to host it somewhere February, March here in South Jersey.
And when she says South Jersey, she means south of Tom's River and west.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh my
Such a
gosh.
huge
There was a
state.
whole discussion on is there a Central Jersey or not at
Ocean
this.
County, yeah, where we are, is the northernmost county in
Right.
southern New Jersey.
So
Good God.
forgive me.
All right. I just put up something which might be of interest to you guys. And it's Doc Waller's Earth and Space Reports. It's a series of monthly talks which are recorded and archived on a dedicated YouTube channel. And we've had a diversity of folks giving their reports, if you will, their talks, from high school students to veteran Earth and space scientists. And this is my 6th year of hosting this. It's a pandemic baby, a COVID baby. It started, I think, in April of 2020, and I realized it's something you could do with Zoom, and so we're going with the next one is going to be about the worst places in the universe by Megan Watsky. That'll be next Friday, which will not talk about the sublime wonders of the universe, but the scary places and the gross places, etc. So that should be fun. So I have a few questions, and I think I'm going to predict some of the answers. I'm going to put it in the chat. Uh, So, given the clientele, I'm gonna guess. But what aspects of the universe excites and engages you the most? So if you could put in the chat a response. Um, okay, Michelle, active galactic nuclei, those squirters.
That was the research project we did with NASA IPAC.
Sure, right. The NITARP program.
NITARP. So
Yeah.
yeah. So that's another thing if you know, Christine, in your copious free time,
Yeah.
if you're ever interested in working, you know, and applying onto a NASA research project, NITARP was a amazing, amazing year. Went to the AAS a couple times, presented our research, everything, like just
Is that in the chat?
nope, I'll put it now.
Okay.
Yeah, there's so
So
many things.
the students are proving me wrong. They're really talking about the big stuff, and I'm going to where do I have it? I was going to predict that you were going to talk about say Mars because one of you said Mars.
What's the last name?
Who?
It's his last name.
Oh, Mars, Dean Mars. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm heartened to see that you have a truly cosmic scope in your interests. Um, my bailiwick, if you will, uh, basically concerns galactic ecosystems, and those are those cloudy stellar nurseries, stellar and nebular sites of star and planet formation and also the generation of complex molecules, of which you and I are exemplars. So it's good to see that you guys are interested in the size and scale of galaxies. Um, that's good stuff. I did have a question. Here you go. Oh yeah, people you interact with, do your audiences prefer to engage with manned, robotic, or blended space exploration? Okay, so blended for Logan. And Michelle. Um, and so we have to get Christine.
I don't have an opinion on this. Sorry.
Well, if you have space settlement design competition in your byline,
They have not done robotic, and I've only had one experience with that, and it's only been people. But I don't know, like we never surveyed them on that, so I don't have from my audience.
mm-hmm. Um, but we are at a very interesting point in space exploration. We've had so much success with robotic space exploration, up to and including the great observatories, the Hubble Space Telescope, the Spitzer Space Telescope, the Chandra Space Telescope, and now the James Webb Space Telescope. And then all those rovers on Mars, and we're headed to Europa. Uh, Europa Clipper is that mission.
The Lucy mission.
The Lucy mission to the asteroids. And then Juno's still and Jupiter.
Yeah,
And
Juno's amazing.
so we've had great success with robotics. Uh, but I think we're getting to the point where, at least with the moon, we'll be able to exercise a symbiosis of both human and robotic exploration strategies. And you students especially in the mechanical engineering, um, and even the civil engineering where you're trying to build habitats. Um, you're going to be able to witness this unfold. So it's kind of an exciting time, if only things get refunded. Just saying.
Well, but the Artemis mission has been going forward, so they didn't, even with the government shutdown, they're still plugging away. So,
Is the Gateway program still going?
well, that's in jeopardy, right? So there's talk about putting a stop on that, or who knows what'll happen. I guess besides the government reopening, we need to get a NASA administrator, somebody who's going to, keep a focus going. But yeah, I think anything beyond Artemis 3 right now is in jeopardy, we'll say. Not in danger, but at least in jeopardy. But then so is the Nancy Grace Roman for, some of
Right.
these other space telescopes are
Right.
also
The
in jeopardy.
Chandra X-ray telescope is like in its 25th year or something, and
Yeah, they're talking about not funding it anymore.
pulling the plug. It's done great stuff. Continues to do so.
So, for some of you students, do you guys go out? Do you do any astronomy? Do you do any observing? Do you have access to stuff like that? I know that there's a planetarium there at the OCC, but do you get involved with any astronomy clubs? Like big with our astronomy club, South Jersey Astronomy Club here. So we do engagement and sky watches. Do you participate in any of those?
I think last year I went to the something like space or museum at the New York, and this was amazing. I see everything.
The Hayden Planetarium, was that it? At the Museum of Natural History?
Yes, yes.
Right. The Rose Center.
Yep.
Now it's the Rose Center. We still call it the Hayden.
Is it not called the Hayden anymore? I had no clue.
Hasn't been called the Hayden in a while. I know. I still call it that.
And Dean mentioned going to an observatory up in New York. What observatory, Dean? One World.
Oh, One World at in the city. Yeah, I've heard of them. All right.
Yeah,
Bye,
I have to
Christine.
hop off. Sorry, my family's home. I gotta go.
All right.
It was nice to meet all of you. My email's
Nice.
in the chat if any of the students need it, or any of the adults as well. All right.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right. Okay. So I have a few questions left. And this would be in some ways for, I guess, the adults in the room, maybe some of the students, but what barriers what barriers to engagement and understanding have you encountered? So that would be in in the work that you do.
Well, I know on my end, sometimes I get too many requests and I don't have enough time.
Oh,
Time constraints.
that's a good thing to have, actually, if your people are hungry for what you have to offer.
Time zones, yes. You West Coasters, yes, it's very hard.
I'm talking about South Africa and Portugal and Thailand, actually, Bangladesh, and yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean, Logan?
I facilitate and host emblem education sessions around the world. So there are times when I'm up between 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning
Right.
in order
Wow.
to facilitate, to accommodate, because
Yeah.
speaking live and direct to your audience has a much more profound impact
Sure does.
than presenting a recording. That the convenience of the recording is without question, but
Mm.
And then Akarade mentioned the time and barrier of language.
mhm,
For example, the International Astronomical Union's Office of Astronomy for Education puts on these summits. One's coming up very soon. The Shaw IAU workshop for astronomy and education, and the default language is English.
yeah,
But there has been some pushback in those regards, and so now they're developing a glossary in multiple languages, astronomical glossary in multiple languages. And then during these workshops, they have special sections um, in multiple languages, like French especially for the Haitians and certain African countries,
yeah,
and I think Portuguese for Brazilians and Portuguese.
yeah. On,
So,
on two on two occasions, I've actually recorded myself giving a presentation, and then I found a excellent free online translation, so I can actually provide subtitle text in different languages, but the audio is still English.
That's
I,
awesome.
I think maybe Zoom has some translation capability. I don't remember.
I've used it, and it's horrible.
Oh, okay, there you go.
That's why I went outside of Zoom. I love Zoom, but yeah, their language translation turned out to be somewhat garbage, especially for subtitled text.
Um, I often encounter people get confused, when you're doing outreach, they often get confused about distances and sizes, and it
Yeah,
kind of boggles their minds, and then they kind of freeze and they're not open to any further engagement because they're stuck on, you know, um, these sorts of things. Like, for example, just the idea that when you look at a distant object, you see it as it was a long time ago, and like that star could be out, it could have just blinked out. And we wouldn't know it until, you know, hundreds of years from now.
yeah.
And so people get blown away, and sometimes they just stop in their efforts to understand when they start hitting something which just knocks them for a loop.
What I put together is a few years ago is a solar system walk on the boardwalk here by the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So I scaled it down, obviously. Can't walk the solar system along the Jersey Shore, but had created boards and scaled it down to a half-mile walk so that the kids and the adults could see some of the distances and how close the inner planets at least were,
Cozy.
and how really close, and then how much further they had to count their steps if it was 262 steps out this way to give them some idea on size, and then hung up an 8-inch um, yellow disc for the sun so that every time we went to a planet or stopped at the asteroid belt or someplace, I'd say, turn around, can you still see the sun? So just to kind of be
Nice.
an interactive thing. Yeah, came up with it from COVID because everybody was stuck home and wanted to start doing stuff to get people out. So a friend of mine said, "What about on the boardwalk? I've got this contact." So I made a bunch of boards and so made it so it's a self-guided walk, and they can it's QR codes with the planets if they want to find any more information, as well as I'll do a couple of guided walks for them.
And
Just something fun.
you can make
Yeah,
your own scale model solar system. There's a
right.
website, I'm not going to bring it up, but it's scale model solar system where you can choose the scaling, which is very handy. You don't have to do the arithmetic.
Yeah. Um,
which is
Exploratorium.
it's not just, say it again?
Exploratorium. I think
Might
that was
be.
the site.
Yeah. It's not, as I recall, it's not just the relative distances, but it's also the relative sizes. So for
Right.
example, I do a 14 billion to 1 scale model solar system with a grapefruit as the sun, 10 centimeter. And the Earth is like a poppy seed. And Jupiter is a blueberry or kick cereal. So that's
Is
kind
there
of a fun thing. If you have more space, you make a bigger scale model.
is there like 3 minutes that I could share with you my favorite story that involves stars? Favorite patch story that was actually shared with me by the crew of space STS-41D.
I think that's awesome.
Yes, I think that's a great thing. Because I was going to end with what recommendations do you have for aspiring space educators, but we have aspiring space activists here, and
Yeah.
I think you've given plenty of advice.
Yeah, to our students that are still with us, I wish you all the best. I think that there is just so much possibilities. I'd love to rewind my life and do it over again because I would definitely be on a different trajectory just knowing what I know about myself now.
Mm.
But I want to leave you with a story because stories have this lasting impact. So I'm going to share with you this story about this patch. So this is
Resonant
STS-41D.
discovery.
It was originally designated as STS-12, but was NASA played around with the mission designations and made it more confusing before they stopped doing that. This is STS-41D. So all of the 5 orbiters that have flown in space were all named after ships of exploration. This is the first flight of the Space Shuttle Orbiter Discovery.
Mm.
And it is named after actually 3 tall sailing ships that were all ships of exploration. The one pictured in the design is RRS Discovery, the Royal Research Ship Discovery, built in Scotland to circumnavigate.
Oh, you're frozen.
Logan.
Yeah, he's frozen. Castles made of sand.
Oh no.
Antarctica. And on that voyage,
Oh,
lay
Logan,
eyes on an emperor penguin.
Logan,
They
you could,
adopted a herd of this. They too
quick,
wanted to know what
Logan,
the
you
mission
were
patch looks
frozen.
like.
You were frozen, so could you
Uh-oh.
kind of rewind a little bit?
Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So the where did I stop?
Describing the ship Discovery.
So the RRS Discovery, and there were 3 tall sailing ships of exploration. This ship was built in Scotland.
You froze again.
Probably on the same word.
That's so weird. Let's see. Logan, you
Hello?
are frozen.
I'm going to turn
Hello?
my video off. Just
Okay.
I've never had any issues, but I'll go ahead and turn my video off. So can you still see the patch?
Yes.
Yes.
So the Royal Research Ship Discovery was the namesake for the orbiter. It was built in Scotland to circumnavigate Antarctica. And on that voyage, the first human beings laid eyes on an emperor penguin. And they adopted a penguin as their mascot. And when the crew of STS-41D heard of this, they too wanted to have a penguin in the design of their mission patch. Now the crew get to decide what their mission patch looks like. But NASA has final approval. So they submitted a design that had a penguin, and the NASA reviewer said no penguin and gave no reason. So the crew were determined. So they collaborated with they challenged the artist that they collaborated with to include a penguin in the design of their mission patch. They submitted this design back to the NASA reviewer, and the NASA reviewer noticed there are 12 stars in this patch. There weren't 12 stars in the previous design. So what is the story behind the stars? And so the crew member that was representing the crew said, well, that's the constellation Penguinus australis. and you can only see it from the southern hemisphere.
Oh, wow.
Now, the truth is there is no such thing as the
Yeah.
constellation Penguinus Australis,
Yeah.
but it is a half truth because that is how they hid the penguin in their design. So rotating it so you can see the stars, imagine a constellation. Now, as constellations go, you can be a little bit of, there's creative license, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here is the emperor penguin in the design. Now, for
That's
those of you,
awesome.
for those of you who have never seen an emperor penguin, this is what one looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have the opportunity to travel to Scotland, visit the city of Dundee, which is where the RRS Discovery was built. And you wander the town and you will see statues of emperor penguins all over the town. Now, here's the other fun fact. Penguins do not live, they're not indigenous north of the equator, with one exception. There's a species that lives on the Galapagos Islands, so we'll give them that. But this story was told to me by Charlie Walker and Mike Mullane, and it was also supported by Hoop Gibson, who was friends of both of these men. So the wonderful thing I like about stories, it essentially helps to move history forward because our advancement in both human spaceflight as well as space exploration is very much tied to where we've come from and what we've done in the past. And hopefully now you will see that stars have a multitude of meanings, and they are a clever problem solver for at least in this particular case. So I leave you with that.
It's kind of
It's
sweet.
a great story. Thank you, Logan, for sharing that.
You are welcome.
I will never look at that mission patch the same again. Now I'm going to be turning all
Yeah.
the other ones around just in
That
case. All right.
that patch might actually be in the set that you have, which is one. But that's just one of many stories that will forever change your perspective on those things.
And it included Resnick, who passed away re-entering. Is that correct?
Correct. Well, she was on Challenger.
Challenger, the first
Yeah.
one.
Yep.
So it was during launch.
Yeah, Judy Resnick, yep, was part of STS-51L, which was the Space Shuttle Challenger's last flight.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing that one has to grapple with. Human space flight continues to be risky.
Yes.
That's why robotic missions are the way to go, for
Yeah.
for certain things to get us started.
Yeah. So we're close to a full hour. What else would you like to do, Michelle?
Well, take any other questions from the students, I think. We rambled about a lot of different things. So, is there like a burning question on your mind besides Mars? Um, uh, you know, uh, did you all see The Martian or read the book?
Oh,
Great book.
my goodness. Both.
Both. Great book, great movie. Did you guys?
I do have one question. Maybe you guys can answer, maybe you guys can't, but I'm just interested, like, is there life on other planets? And if so, like, could we ever reach those planets?
Well, I know at least from all my readings, there has been no definitive sign of life yet discovered. They're um, they're finding amino acids and building blocks of things that could show signs of life, but they have not 100% ruled on that. So you're going to have to stay tuned until we get anything from Europa, anything from any of the Mars sample return, which that has been squashed as well. We don't know if we're going to see some things.
And in
Right?
the meantime, the James Webb Space Telescope is probing exoplanetary atmospheres.
Right. So there's possibilities, but nothing definite yet. caves on Mars. Is that what?
Yeah, I gave the wrong. I gotta give you the right URL. I haven't actually read this. This comes to me through Smart Brief. Um, and so it's a compilation of science news articles, and this one is in physics.org, I think. And so I don't know how they're discovering these caves, but I'm sure I'm almost sure that it's from an orbiter. And
Yeah.
one of you was mentioning um, remote sensing, uh,
I have
remote
to.
sensing of things on the Earth.
Good to meet you, Logan.
Nice meeting
Yes,
you.
it was
Sorry,
fun.
I'm late for another meeting, so I was
Okay.
engrossed and engaged. Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Oh,
the universe expand forever or collapse? Um, the data suggests that it will expand forever, but but we don't really know the trajectory of acceleration and deceleration yet in the universe. Right now, we see that the universe seems to be accelerating in its expansion rate, which would suggest that it will expand forever. Um, but then we don't, that might be time varying, that there's a period of accelerating expansion. It could be followed by a period of decelerating expansion. In other words, heading towards a big crunch.
the one thing I always tell my younger students is that something that we know today, we know and we've kind of tested, and as we get better and better tools, looking out into the universe and better sensors, we might learn newer things. So, there's been a lot of debate about the expansion, whether it's expanding rapidly, right, or slower, or the rate of expansion's been much debated over the years. So,
There does seem
uh,
to be an epic which might be ending. I think that's what some of the most recent um, research suggests, that an epic approximately 10 to 5 billion years ago of accelerating expansion. And the current epic, there might not be as much. But a lot of times, you see press releases. That's another thing. You see press releases, and the scientists and their hosting organizations get all excited about their finding, but it's always preliminary in science. You really need to get more data, run more and better models, more scientific teams. It's uh, it's not flashy stuff. It can be a slow slog to figure things out.
right here I put in, I know there was a site with Hubble. Look at this, and this was from 1996. So I put the link in there on measuring the expansion rate of the universe.
Mhm.
So,
They've gotten better at that, and I think
yep.
it's around 70. The
So,
current epic rate is 73 kilometers per second per megaparsec.
yeah. So chew on that, students. 73 kilometers per second per megaparsec. Like that blows my mind, measuring that distance.
Yeah. Well, the trick is you have to measure the distance to something and measure its redshift, how much its light has shifted towards the red, um,
Right.
which basically tells you how fast space has been expanding since that light came to us. And you need both to get that for a whole bunch of distances to get a rate. Um,
Yeah.
it's it was the major reason for the Hubble Space Telescope. to determine that rate.
And now the Gaia mission has been retired, and it was mapping. It has been mapping billions and billions of objects.
Stars.
Yep, in the sky, its distance, taking measurements, and all you can do is sift through all that data and try to come up with some of your own math as time goes on, and follow articles.
Yeah. So I sometimes just feel like an astro tourist, and I tend to summarize things in writing. But yeah, it's great to be alive and noticing.
I have two questions if you don't mind me asking. My first question is why is there so many like voids in space? Like we have like areas where it's like populated with stars and planets, and then we have like huge areas like beyond comprehension with just like nothing. And then my second question is, since we know like about when the Big Bang happened, like when the like universe was first created, is it possible that the Big Bang was just a big star that like collapsed and then spread out its energy everywhere?
Okay, I'll address the voids, and Michelle can address the big star bang. Um, I think you're referring not to stuff in our Milky Way galaxy. It does have structure where there's places that are more crowded and places which are emptier. The more crowded parts are in the spiral arms. But for the universe writ large, um, there are filaments and voids, as you said. And those filaments consist of clusters of galaxies and superclusters of galaxies. And it appears that most of the radiating matter um, is structured in the form of these filaments. And at the nodes of intersecting filaments, you'll get a super cluster of galaxies, like our Virgo supercluster, which we're a distant part of. And so it suggests that the universe has evolved gravitationally. It's a challenge to figure out, but they think that there was initial inhomogeneity in the expanding universe of plasma, if you will, ionized gas, and then as it cooled, expanded and cooled, the slight overdensities got denser because of gravity, and the underdensities got emptier because of gravity. And so that led to the filaments, they think. Okay, Michelle.
I don't know do you guys look at images at all? Like, do you look at astronomy images? Do you go on sites, social media, whatever?
Sometimes.
I'm gonna
Going to share your screen?
the Hubble's no, the Hubble's ultra deep field. Well,
There you
I
go.
will share that image. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can. So I use it here. Share. All right. Can you see this?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I suggest that you go and you look at this. Just in that field of view, there's 10,000 galaxies in there.
It's almost all galaxies you're seeing,
Right,
not stars.
right. So, and you can tell a star because it'll have diffraction spikes in its image, whereas the galaxies all look like smudges in there. But what are galaxies made out of? Stars, right? So if you look at this and then you see the James Webb, I think, has now done an ultra deep field image. And as we get better equipment, you'll see that it fills in some of those voids as well, right? So, I just thought, like, when you were talking about the voids out there, yeah, there's going to be, right, voids. There's space doesn't have to be filled with everything, a particle everywhere. But I know that there are times they've pointed the Hubble to a dark patch of sky and have been amazed
Mhm.
at what shows up. So you have to keep looking at some of these sites in order to see what's out there. Better technology will yield better images as time goes on, and it's not easy to take these images. They're spending hours and hours of pointing these telescopes at different areas. Yeah, the cosmic web.
That's the term they use for the network of filaments in the larger universe. If you Googled cosmic web, you'd come up with a lot of pictures, but they're depictions. They're not really mappings for the most part. Maybe you'll find some mappings which are evocative of the web that seems to exist. But to the last question, could the Big Bang be represented as just one big star that expanded into everything?
So anything I've read up on the Big Bang is not a star, just a lot of super hot, dense atoms just in there that right that just eventually burst outward, I guess is the best way to describe it.
But perhaps
Um
not from a center.
no,
It could have been just an enormous decompression everywhere. Um,
right,
and so there might not have been a center to it. We don't know.
right. And the James Webb Space Telescope can see back, right? They were saying to 400,000 years
After the Big Bang.
after the Big Bang. So, um, again, the better the technology, the better we can see things that help us fill in some of the information, but all the leading theories have been that it is gas and atoms,
Hmm.
um, not a single, not like a star, right?
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
But in some ways,
Right.
cosmic microwave background, which is as far back in time as we can go, it's it's a glow, all sky glow, um, which has some irregularities, like 1 part in 100,000. It's smoother than a skating rink, the surface of a skating rink is. But you'll if you look up cosmic microwave background, you'll see these all sky maps, and it looks a little curdled on a scale of around a degree, and that's supposedly the beginnings of structure that evolved into the superclusters of galaxies. And so you could Hubble Big Bang NASA Science would be good. Also, Wikipedia does a pretty good job on that sort of stuff. Um, and what it is it's that epoch of last scattering. There was an epoch before when it was just all plasma, like the stuff inside a fluorescent bulb, ionized gas, and so photons were bouncing off all the charged particles, um, and couldn't escape. But then the universe expanded and cooled around 380,000 years after the hot Big Bang to a point where the plasma recombined, the ions and electrons recombined, made atoms, and then no longer you had these lone charges, and the photons could be set free. And that's what we see as that surface of last scattering at this epoch. And in some ways, that's analogous to the surface of a star, where what we see is the surface of the sun is that surface of last scattering. Um, that zone where the photons could escape. You can't see into the sun, for example.
Right.
So I think that
Did that
sort of explains it. Well, I think we should probably shut down before the kids zone out.
if you guys have any questions that you want answered, email us back. And we'll get you some answers on stuff.
Or places to look.
Or at least places to look. How's that?
Sounds good. Thank you guys so much for hosting.
Sounds good.
Yes,
This was amazing. Thank you.
You
Great to
guys
have
are
you.
awesome, and thank you for attending. And tell Professor Bogdan she rocks.
You made the mixer.
Thanks.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Have a
Have
good
a
night.
great
Thank
night.
you guys.
Thank
So
you so
long,
much.
Michelle.
Good night, William.
I'll send out the recording tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Go well.
All right. Have a good night.